Hello.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm just peachy. How are you?
A little tired, little tired. I got little sleep last night, but you know what? We're here. We're here. So, how are things? How are things? How's the move? Right? You're packing up
Oh
to move
yeah.
soon.
Tonight.
You move tonight.
I'm
Hold on,
leaving
hold on.
tonight.
You leave tonight, and you're like, "Fuck it, I'll go on a podcast episode."
Yeah, I'm not a person who collects a lot of things. I don't have a lot of stuff. So my entire life fits into like four boxes.
Here, let me just do that real quick. I don't collect it either.
Everything I own pretty much aside from like my TV fits in like four boxes.
Damn.
So I'm throwing those in the car and driving across the country buying new furniture.
Oh, and buying new furniture.
Yep. Bed's not
Okay.
coming. It's more expensive. It's so expensive to like moving trucks.
Oh yeah.
No, it's not worth it for a 9.5 hour drive.
9.5 hour drive. Dang. You're going from
Illinois to Tennessee.
Illinois to Tennessee. Okay. I knew you were going to Tennessee. I always forget where you're at right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
Missouri.
closer.
My gram. Well, let me rephrase that. I can't remember if my gram lived there or if it was her family. Confirmed her family lived there, but I can't remember if she lived there.
I moved up here a year ago, and it threw me off how much of Illinois is just the Midwest. It's just cornfields.
Or Illinois. Oh my God. Why do I keep thinking Missouri?
That's the next state down. I'm
I
actually
know.
closer to St. Louis than I am Chicago.
Oh, the tired is kicking in. I thought you said Missouri. I was gonna go on a spree there about how my gram every time she talks about it, she says Missouri.
Yeah,
Apparently it's
I've heard
thing
there's
there.
it's a thing there, and I've heard it's a thing in is it Kentucky that both places like there's things that if you're from a certain part of the state, you pronounce it what they call the right way. Then
Yeah,
everybody
the
else
right way.
pronounces it normal. Missouri is one of them in Louisville.
Louisville.
Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville.
Yeah. Yep, that's my that's how you know my gram either was there when she was a little girl or her family was from there because she's always called it Missouri. Oh yeah, the family farm in Missouri or Colorado.
Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado.
Never heard that one. I like it.
That's similar to like Pennsylvania. If you're from Pennsylvania and you're explaining you're from Pennsylvania, you don't say Pennsylvania. You're always like, "Oh yeah, I'm from PA."
Yeah.
No other state. Name another state. When you're from Oregon, you don't say, "Oh, I'm from OR."
No.
You
No.
don't.
I feel like
PA's the only one that
I
does
feel
it.
like Pennsylvania, it's such a long state you have to.
Okay.
I
What
feel
about
like you should
Washington?
just that place isn't real.
Pennsylvania. That's four.
I feel like
Washington. Oh, that's only three.
if you're from Pennsylvania, you should just say your city. Like
Oh,
I feel
yeah, I
like
mean,
I feel like between Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, it's so different in the same state. Like you have
yes.
to specify.
You have no clue. The difference between Pittsburgh and Philly is it's night and day. So Philly, zero mountains. Zero
Yeah.
mountains. It's flat. It's red clay. It is red clay. The dirt, when you're driving along the highways and you look over and you see the dirt, like where the grass isn't growing, but there's dirt, or when they're doing road construction, yeah, 100% red clay. You get about halfway through the state, and then it's not. It's the normal dirt color, like the brownish tan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the normal dirt color. But when you get to Philly, it's nope, all red clay. And then Philly itself, no mountains. Like, little background, I grew up in the mountains of Pennsylvania. Grew up in the mountains. Like, I grew
Yeah.
up like 20 minutes from the tallest mountain in Pennsylvania. 20, 30 minutes from the tallest mountain in Pennsylvania. Philly has nothing. Yeah, they sure they have some hills, but nothing.
I grew up in the mountains of North Georgia.
Okay, all right.
Same. They're both the Appalachian Mountains. What are you looking at me? Don't give me that. The
Okay.
Appalachian Trail starts in Helen, Georgia, right where I grew up.
Tallest
there's a
mountain
sign.
in Georgia.
Look, it's probably Bald Mountain, maybe.
Georgia State. Georgia State. What is the tallest mountain in Georgia State? Oh my God. It's giving me mountains from the country.
The country
of
Surprise,
Georgia.
It's the same thing. But you succeeded.
Oh. Okay, I'll let it slide. Brasstown Bald.
Yeah.
As the state's highest peak, 4,784 feet above sea level. All right, whatever.
Yeah, it's right at the start of the Chattahoochee Forest.
Okay, all right. Listen,
it's in the northeast.
Just because the tallest mountain in Pennsylvania is like 3,200 feet.
It's where I grew up, and the best part about it is there's a sign, because the Appalachian Trail starts. The very base of the trail is in Helen, Georgia, somewhere around Helen, and there's a sign that's like, it has 3 different points on it.
Okay,
and one of them is like 1.4 miles, one of them is like 3.9 miles. And then one of them is like 2,000 miles, and it ends in Maine.
Well, I knew that. I knew that the Appalachian Trail, there's an actual trail you can walk.
Yeah.
From the very, very bottom of the Appalachian Mountains all the way up to Maine.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a sign where it starts.
Yeah, trust me. It literally goes through where I grew up.
And it's like 2,100 miles. There's a sign. It's like the first approach of the Appalachian Trail to somewhere in Maine. I don't actually know what place it is.
Okay, so let me. I should circle back and explain why I didn't think Georgia had mountains.
All right, go ahead.
Again, being in the Army, I was stationed at Augusta. Or it was
a very different part of Georgia. Fort
Gordon, which is right by Augusta. Flat, nothing but sand in any direction. It's stupid. It is stupid. Georgia, no offense, you're an awesome dude. There are people in Georgia that are awesome. Georgia, to me, will forever be known as Satan's butthole.
Fair.
Because there's nothing but sand, and honest to God, they get up to like 105, 95% humidity. I go in this, which for those listening, it is a muscle t-shirt and shorts. I go outside for 5 minutes, not in the shade, and I'm drenched in sweat. It's stupid.
Yeah.
I having been there for a year and a month, I completely understand why the movies portray these people just sitting on their porch drinking a nice tea. Not an iced tea, just tea. It's like, because if you drink iced tea, it makes you sweat more. So you have to drink just regular old tea, just sitting on your rocker on the porch.
Yep.
Because there's nothing else you could do without dying of sweating to death.
Yeah, in Georgia, you walk outside, you can feel the air.
You can literally feel the air. It's true.
That's the downside, is you open the door and it hits you. And you're like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't go outside today. Georgia has 3 very different parts, because there's the sandy, and you get close to the coast in Savannah, and you get a little bit of, it's not a real beach, but you get kind of that vibe. Then you have South Georgia, and the swamps are down there.
Ooh, never experienced
that. And then you have North Georgia with the mountains, and you got big city in Atlanta.
I've been to Atlanta, but only for a layover, because flying home, I went from Augusta Airport to Atlanta Airport, and then Atlanta to Pittsburgh.
Atlanta just opened a new terminal, yeah, I think just opened, exclusively for like famous people.
What?
And like rich people to be able to like bypass normal security lines.
Don't get me wrong, Atlanta has a huge airport.
Oh yeah,
it's a huge airport.
It's the busiest airport in the world.
It's the biggest one in the world?
Busiest.
Oh, busiest. I think you said biggest. I'm like, have you been to DC?
Yeah, no. I think Chicago. Literally
5 terminals where you have to have a trolley literally go off the tarmac, across the tarmac, to get you from terminal to terminal.
I know Chicago, I think, has the most runways. I don't know if they have the biggest airport, but yeah.
DC, I have to say DC is probably the biggest one I've been to.
DC does Dulles.
I can't say it's, so I've flown quite a bit. Let's go there, right? I've flown quite a bit. So in the Army, I've flown from Pitt to DC to somewhere in South Carolina, because I went to Fort Jackson for basic. Okay. Right? We had a connecting flight in DC. In fact, I was put in charge of like 5 of us. I had to keep our paperwork, our little check for a meal, and all that fun stuff. I was in charge of that. So we all flew from Pitt down to DC, and then DC to somewhere. I don't remember where it was in South Carolina. I'll be completely honest. But that was on my way to Basic. Drove from Basic to AIT down in Georgia. And then I flew quite a bit. Augusta to Atlanta, Atlanta to Pitt, Augusta to DC, DC to Pitt. But then I've also flown. I flew from Pitt to Vegas, had a 3.5-hour layover at Vegas, and then flew from there to Portland to go climb Mount Rainier in Washington State. I flew from Detroit. I know. Before anyone says it, I know I say it weird. It's everyone else says Detroit. No, I say Detroit.
That's okay. You say Vegas weird too.
What?
You say Vegas weird too.
Yeah, Vegas.
Yeah, you don't say. Everybody else says Vegas.
But it's VE. It's Vegas.
Yeah, it's Vegas.
Vegas.
It's Vegas, baby.
Okay. All right. Get out of here. But yeah. So we flew from Detroit to Houston, and then Houston to Dallas Fort Worth. That was the flight. And then I think we did the same thing, but in reverse to come back from the Smite World Championship back in January. I have been on, I'm not even kidding. If we're counting the connecting flights, I've been on probably 30 to 40 some flights.
I've been on 0.
Which baffles me. Baffles me. Hey, Panda, what do you do?
I'm an air traffic controller.
And you've never flown on a plane?
Nope.
What?
Not once in my life.
How?
I've been, the only aircraft I've ever been in, I didn't even fly, is a Chinook helicopter.
That's I get it. Probably in the vernacular, the terms, it probably is considered a flight. Right? But
oh no, we didn't fly. I was just touring it. As a controller, I went and talked to the pilots there. Like they did a show and we went and talked to their pilots, and they brought us in there to show us how it all works when they're trying to talk to us and fly that thing at the same time.
Okay, listen, if you've never been on a flight, then what made you want to get that job then?
The real answer is my buddy recommended it, and I looked into it, and I was like, this seems pretty cool. And then everybody said it was like one of the most stressful jobs in the world. And I was like, I work better in like high stress environments. So I was like, let me give it a shot. Got in, went into Basic for that, went to Oklahoma for the training program, killed it there. Now I'm in Illinois and about to be moving to Tennessee to work at a bigger airport.
I mean, do you even like planes?
Love them. Absolutely.
How do you love them, but you've never been on a flight?
Can't tell you the answer to that. Just realistically, it's cheaper. It's cheaper to not fly places.
It's not okay. So that's a false advertisement. Panda, I will not have that on this podcast. We did a breakdown. It was myself, Snapdax, Carnifex, and it was us 3 at the time because we weren't sure on who our 4th was going to be. Okay. It ended up being Muscle Man, right? And for those of you that don't know, those are buddies that we play with. We play video games with. We did a cost breakdown of what it would be to have either A, use somebody's car, or B, rent a car to go down to Texas for the Smite World Championship in January versus taking a flight. And you break about even.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you're all leaving from different places, it's different.
No. Wait, what? Different as in more expensive?
It's cheaper. If it's more expensive to drive, if you have to drive one car to 4 different places to pick people up, then drive it all the way down.
But see, that's the great thing about it. 3 of us 4 were in the same, in a 20-minute area. They literally were 20 minutes.
Okay, then yeah. I would argue that driving will be cheaper then.
It wasn't. It was, I'm sorry. We did the cost breakdown, and I think I think with the gas and you break it down, split between the four of us, it would have been $20 cheaper total, not per person. Total, $20 cheaper.
And
You're
that's
saving $20. Come on.
Here's
now.
the thing. That's helped out a lot by the fact that you guys probably stayed in a very small area when you were in town and not Ubering all over the place and like.
Oh, we rented a
lifts all
car
over
when
the
we got
place.
down there.
Or car rental. That's another thing. Like the price of the car rental needs to be added into the cost of flying.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because the cost of
because then we have to account for the gas while we're down there.
exactly, but gas is a lot cheaper than renting a car.
Well, you're not wrong.
Last time I went to Georgia, for example, I went from Illinois to Georgia, and I filled up 3 times. 3 tanks of gas for a week and a half trip.
For what car? What type of car?
I have a Chevy Equinox.
Chevy Equinox. So you're looking at about a 12-gallon gas tank.
14.
Right? 14? Okay, so still 14. And fill up. Well, you are in the South, so I'm assuming it's cheaper because up here right now, gas is $3.89 a gallon.
That's what it is around here in Illinois as well. And that's so my first fill up was, we'll say my first fill up would be at that, and then it gets cheaper. I think the cheapest gas I passed through was in Kentucky.
Georgia has to be cheaper.
I want to, well, parts of Georgia might be, but I spent a lot of time near Atlanta.
Okay, even Atlanta, you're still at least 50 cents cheaper than up here.
Oh, yeah, but more expensive than Kentucky is what I'm saying.
But that's my point. That's my point. 3 of those 4 people lives in Michigan. Right. I'm in Pittsburgh. Now, granted, we didn't count the cost of me driving from here to Michigan. Because we accounted for what it would cost for them to come down and pick me up on their way. I'm still technically in the same direction, south, but I'm way east and then south. So we even counting that, right? Even if you counted that they would have driven to pick me up and then brought me down, the gas just it was again $20 cheaper to drive than to fly. And we said, screw it. I'm not worried about that. I'm not putting a crap ton of miles on one vehicle that one of us owns just for us to get down there. We'll just fly. There's no problem with flying. Now, granted, the Airbnb that we had, and we're doing the same thing this upcoming January. Right. I'm going to take myself and Blue Fox Red, since he's also from Pittsburgh. We're going to take a vehicle up to Michigan, and then Michigan, Snapdax's dad is going to drive us to the airport, drop us off, and pick us up on our return. Okay. So that we're not really counting. You could, but regardless, you're taking that hour trip.
I wouldn't count you driving to them as part of the cost.
See, okay,
because
then
that's unavoidable no matter how you take it.
That's it. Well, I'm sorry.
Whether you fly or drive, that part of it's unavoidable cost.
It is.
So I'm only comparing the cost of starting at one place, getting to another place, and then the cost of moving around while you're down there.
But it's so then it would have cost us more because, well, no. Regardless, it's negligible.
Car rentals are expensive.
It depends. Oh, I'm aware. Trust me. While I was in Texas, the damn guy at the car rental place, at the car rental desk, Hertz, thank you, Hertz. # unsponsored. # not recommended. We pre-reserved a rental car. It was part of the package when you get your flight, right? Makes sense. Right. Why not package it all together? You get cheaper. You get a little bit discount on your flight and a little bit of discount on your vehicle. So we got, I think, a larger sedan, maybe the smallest size SUV you could get. That's what we rented. I paid, I don't know, $250, $300 up front for it. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's not that bad. Now I'm thinking, great, that's a huge deposit on it, and I won't have much left after that. We fucking get down there, and we're like, it's the place at the airport. It's at the airport. We get to the place, and the guy's like, oh, you're in Texas. Everything's got to be bigger. You should bump up. So a little background, okay? Because I'm not doxing them. We've already chatted about this. Two of the people that went on that trip with me work at Verizon, so they're familiar with upcharging, right? Yep. These wonderful friends of mine decided we're going to stand way over there and not help you at all, say no to getting upcharged.
That's quality friendship right there.
Quality friendship right there. So instead of getting the smallest SUV, we got a Nissan Armada. Which those of you that don't know vehicles, that's a tank. It's a fucking tank. When you go to park, if you get anywhere close, the car automatically realizes that you're parking in a parking lot, right? First of all. So then what it does is on the big screen, it shows you surround cameras because it's so fucking big. It literally has cameras that surround the entire vehicle so you can see where you are parked. And if you're in the lines, how close you are to the vehicles. This fucking thing, we literally called it a tank the entire time we were down there. Right. Hey, where'd you park the tank? This guy upcharged me probably double what I would have paid. I ended up paying, I don't know, we put $250, $300 down. I think I ended up paying like $700, $800 for a rental while down there. I'm like, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Here I am saying no to this guy. Nah, we already have a reservation. No, don't worry about it. And I'm looking over to these wonderful friends of mine. Like, help me, please. And here's them.
I get my brakes done, 4 new tires, and drive down there for $700.
I know. So frustrating.
And I don't even have to buy a plane ticket on top of that.
Well, yeah. Speaking of plane ticket, we have to purchase that here soon. We're all purchasing our own flight. Last year, we made a huge mistake. We decided, because we were supposed to have a fourth person that ended up dropping out like 2 days before we left. 3 days before we left.
Ouch.
Yeah, tons of fun with that. Dr. Troubleshoot. Thanks, Dr. Troubleshoot.
Vaguely know that name.
No, he dropped out. He had some real big life issues hit him. So I understand. I bought all 4 tickets, but I put their names on it. So we had issues with canceling or switching his ticket over to Muscle Man. Had some big issues doing that. So essentially what we had to do is just straight up cancel his flight, refund that, which didn't even refund it. None of us got access to that. This is how fun that was. None of us got access to it. It was Dr. Troubleshoot who got the refund. He was the only one that could use that to purchase a flight in the future. Great. Awesome. Even though I'm the one that booked it, right. He's the one that gets the money for free. He never ended up using it, so that was a waste of money. And then we had to pay at the airport. We're like, I don't know, we got there early. So we had like an hour to kill, hour and a half to kill. And we somehow managed to get Muscle Man his ticket for our flight. Because we did it at the same time. We canceled Dr. Troubleshoots and at the same time purchased Muscle Man. So there was an opening. Thank God nobody else purchased it. But that was a nightmare and a half. So we decided this year, everyone's purchasing their own ticket, but we're all going to hop on a call, do it at the same time. So everyone's on the same flight.
Of course.
But flying, I love flying. Although I had that issue, I love flying. I absolutely love flying. I love watching. I don't sleep on the flights. The flight from Pittsburgh to Vegas, didn't sleep. A lot of people would. Nope. I was looking out the window, looking at the landscape, looking at all sorts of stuff. It was really cool. I got some cool photos of like when you get out west, a lot of things that people don't realize out here because we have hills. We have to build our farms around the mountains, right? When you get to the Midwest, or not the Midwest, they're very square. But when you get to like Vegas area, they're circles. It's these giant circles. And I looked into it. It's because what they do is their irrigation. They just have it on a wheel. They have a bunch of like tracks. And it's this center pole that they put in where the water's pumped up. And then it goes out these rails, and it's just one rail. And it's got wheels every so often. And then it's just this big arm that circles to water the crops. Genius. Genius looks weird as can be when you're in the air.
Right.
But, all right, so you've never been on a flight. You work in air traffic control, but you've never been on a flight.
Both true facts.
So, any plans on flying ever?
I can see myself doing it for sure. I don't have anything against flying. It's just always been the easier option not to.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with driving. I love driving too. Love driving, and again, for the same reason, to look at the scenery and.
I hate driving by myself.
Ooh,
I love driving when I have people.
That is rough. Well, I mean, you are more than welcome. If need be, I will hop in a Discord call and chat with you while you're driving.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. All right. So then, if you could fly on any flight to anywhere, what would it be? To which location and why?
Ooh. So, like, what kind of plane would I fly on?
What type of plane would you like to fly on?
Easily the Airbus 380, the biggest commercial plane in the world.
That's the one where the first class is below the cockpit, right?
It's a double-decker plane. The whole plane is double deck.
Yeah, but I think first class is in the bottom, so none of the other passengers go through them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Either that or, I mean, a private.
Well,
if I have to fly commercial, I would want an A380. If I'm flying private, I think Drake owns a private 767.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on.
That'd be pretty cool.
Hold on. He owns a private 767.
I'm pretty sure he does.
That's a giant that's what I thought. Thought you were saying that's a giant fucking airplane just for him.
Yeah, he owns it.
What does he do? Bring his entire 50-man posse with him?
Yes. It's probably exactly what he does. Or one of the and I'm sure that thing's super luxurious. There's a lot of super luxury private planes that are big like that.
See, okay, all right.
Or,
so you have.
There's very few private that are that big. Then I would have to take a long flight.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna do it and you're gonna do it big, might as well go somewhere far, right?
Right. It would have to be something I would want to go to New Zealand.
Well, New Zealand's not the longest flight, is it?
That's pretty far away.
Well, I would think that the longest flight would be from Texas, or no, because they don't do Texas direct to somewhere. It's usually the coasts, right? It's usually the coasts that do the direct to.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
so then you'd have to do a coast
across the country. Or if you're going overseas, you have to go from a coast.
I would think to India would be the furthest, right?
Yeah, but I don't really have any. Maybe Dubai.
I was gonna say Dubai would be a wonderful place,
but
beautiful
it's desert
scenery
and it's hot. I would want to go to Dubai. I'd want to see the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world.
Yeah,
I think that'd be really cool. And maybe once they finish this line project, have you seen that? The Dubai line?
Is that the palms, the tree with water?
It's like $1 trillion project they're working on right now. That's just two big walls, basically.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Where they have two reflective walls, and then everything is in between.
Yep.
I forgot about this.
They just started construction on that. Once that's finished, I'd go there.
That is nuts. Yeah, the reflective, where it's hundreds of feet in the air.
Yeah. It's $1 trillion project. I'd go there when that's done.
Is the prince funding this?
I'm sure they have plenty of money over there to get it funded.
Oh my! Was that a golf course on it?
Oh yeah, there's everything you could ever imagine on there. It's unreal.
That is nuts. Okay. So even more of a reason, I would feel like a flight to Dubai would be a lot longer.
I don't know how far the flight would be. New Zealand, it would be exclusively to go see the Shire.
Oh,
and like the Lord of the Rings set and all that stuff. There's really cool stuff out in New Zealand. The people are pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
New Zealand or Japan, either one would be great.
What do they call it? The New Zealanders are called Kiwis? Yeah,
I think so.
I think that's what they call them. I actually have a friend. Actually, I haven't chatted with her in a while. I should probably see how she's doing. I have a friend who lives in New Zealand. Don't ask me how we got connected. I genuinely do not remember. But we've chatted a lot. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll message her and be like, hey, listen, the news here in the US is saying this. What are they saying in New Zealand? And they're like, oh no, they're saying that this and this. And it's weird to see the difference between the news.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, New Zealand, that's a solid choice.
So either of those, any of that, it's just a long flight on these super nice private planes. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Because you get to enjoy the plane, and then I get to fly back too. Like I have to fly back. So
okay.
You get a bed.
Have you ever been interested in learning how to fly?
That I think might be the question I get most from people that like are in the aviation industry.
Okay.
Apparently, like it's a really common thing to get like starter learning licenses and stuff. It's really expensive to start being a pilot. I have a friend that's a pilot.
Okay.
That has his own hangar back in Georgia where I'll be visiting him soon. He keeps trying to get me to go up in his plane. And I'm like, it's a tiny little, Skyhawk. I'm not about that. I'm
single
a big
engine?
dude. Yeah. Single propeller engine. I'm a big dude. I'm not about going in those little tiny planes. So I've thought about it, but I don't know, maybe one day when I'm old and bored.
So I mean, have you always been interested in planes?
I've always been fascinated by planes.
Okay.
Obviously, when I was younger, I had no idea how planes work because they're giant metal birds. Like, how do they fly? It didn't make any sense. And then as I learned the science behind it, like, I got interested in the way that the air propulsion works in a plane.
Yeah.
Because it's so specific for these giant jumbo jets to be able to fly, the way they have to balance those forces.
Mm-hmm.
And
turbulence.
The fact that they make some new planes from time to time, but there really hasn't been any major changes in the way planes are done in so long.
Yeah.
I've thought more about trying to figure out how to design a better plane.
Okay.
Than actually flying one.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I mean, let's look at this, right? The 747, right?
Yep.
Been around, let's see, manufactured by Boeing in the United States between 1968. So this literally was 1968. We're 50 years past that.
And there are planes that like get phased out, right? There's as they come up with better versions of the 757, 767, all those planes, and the Airbuses, which I think are Canadian, or somewhere European, maybe Airbus, and they keep coming up with better versions, but it's basically the same thing. There hasn't been like a revolutionary design of a passenger airplane in so long.
I was going to say the A380 was the first flight for the A380 was April 27th of 2005. Yeah, now that's newer, but again,
that one they're already getting rid of because it's too expensive to fly. It's the biggest plane in the world.
They're getting rid of it?
The A380, yeah, it's just too expensive.
And what would be the I don't know if you want to call it replacement. I guess what version are we rolling back to?
There won't be a version of Airbus, but that type of flight, the big luxury flights, will all be 747s.
Okay. Yeah, why? But why is that? Why? That doesn't make sense. That it's been since 1968. Like,
I
sure,
guess
there's been
because
improvements inside. There's been some improvements with electrical, right? And
my
maybe
best
some
guess
of the
is
safety
because
features.
the laws of aerodynamics never change. So
But it doesn't.
maybe they think they have it perfected. I don't know.
All right. So if the laws of aerodynamics never change, but yet we're able to launch a satellite and have the jet rockets come back and land,
Yep.
why can't we improve flights?
And that's the things that have been getting improved on planes is new. I don't know if you know about Oshkosh at all.
Oshkosh Bagosh?
Oshkosh is the world's largest air show.
Oh,
It's
okay.
in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And it just happened less than a month ago.
Okay. I've heard of this.
So a bunch of really cool planes show up, and that's where they debut like new engines and upgrades to certain things.
Okay.
But a lot of those advancements have come in smaller types of aircraft.
Okay.
So you get updated engines for like the more like private jet type jets that they're not going to put in a big passenger plane yet because it's so expensive to replace those.
No offense, they would rather a small crash of 10 people than a big crash of hundreds.
Oh yeah. And that's when you get to see, if you want to see the weirdest looking plane possibly of all time, look up the Super Guppy.
Super Guppy. What?
Yeah, that's that thing. And
Oh, it's a dolphin.
I want to say the Boeing Dreamlifter.
The Guppy. Okay.
And the Guppy, the whole nose opens up. It's
Hold
all
on.
cargo space.
I'm sharing my screen on this one. Hold on, because this is literally a dolphin or like a killer whale, but as a plane.
Oh yeah.
What? It's a dolphin.
Yep.
That's
one of those was at Oshkosh, actually.
That is a dolphin.
Yep.
There's no way that this is legit.
It is.
That right there is legit.
Not the plane turning. It opens. That's the nose opening. That's how they get cargo in the back.
What?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
It's used to carry, it's what they used to carry spaceship parts for NASA.
I'm like this.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you said what was the other one?
The Boeing Dreamlifter.
What the heck? This has the back that opens?
Yep.
You can't tell me that isn't like a humpback whale.
The Airbus Beluga. I've never seen that one. That's
it's a beluga. Yeah, literally a beluga. Look, I said whale.
But I didn't know the name of the Airbus version of it, but yeah. That's what they used to transport massive pieces of anything.
That honestly looks like a bullet.
The Dreamlifter and it looked like the Beluga also are both jet powered. They have big jet engines. The Guppy is propellers.
I saw that. What?
It
makes
turbo propeller powered.
For those listening on the podcast, just look up the Beluga Airbus or the Boeing Dreamlifter or the Super Guppy, and you'll understand. You'll understand. Oh, that is why.
Whenever those things are out of commission, I hope there's a guy. I can't remember where it is, but he basically does Airbnb he bought a out of commission airplane.
Okay.
And stripped the inside and set up like a living space in it. And it was like a 737 maybe, which is what Southwest flies.
Okay.
If you're thinking about the size of a plane, all Southwest flights, I think, are 737s.
Okay.
But imagine the kind of living space you could have inside the Super Guppy.
He set up a damn projector. Come on now. Who needs a big ass TV? Just set up a projector. It's big enough. Like what? I mean, I saw, so true story. Not 5 minutes from my house, I was driving along and I saw somebody convert. I mean, it had to have been like an old school private jet, like way back in the day. They converted that to a camper, just the main body part to a camper. Like they had the cockpit. The cockpit was where they had the where they drove from. It was super cool. But like that's, it's weird to think what people can do with these damn planes, you know?
Yeah.
So I
don't have the creativity.
So all right. So I'm gonna switch gears a little bit, right? But it's still in the realm of planes, right? Have you ever, knowing that you work for air traffic control and you know you're interested in planes and whatnot, have you ever played a video game for flight simulator?
Oh, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yes.
I played it. I'm really bad. I tried to play it on console. That was a mistake.
Ooh, that's rough. That's rough.
But there's so many controls. Have you ever played it?
I've played some flight simulator. I don't know. I honest to God can't remember because this was years ago. I just know that most planes need to be above 180 to lift off. Usually it's like 210. Usually it's like 210.
Used to be.
Jets
can lift off around. I think the 757 goes at like 150.
Oh.
And they start to get some lift.
So that I'm dating myself on how long ago it was.
It's the difference between like jets and propellers. Jets will lift off faster.
Okay.
But they'll also cover the gap from 150 to 200 significantly faster. So
I was gonna say the game that I played, they literally said it like, hey, guess what? Your speed needs to be around 180 in order to have enough speed on the runway to lift off. It's like, oh yeah, okay.
Microsoft Flight Simulator drops you in the cockpit of a plane.
Yeah.
And everything's there. Like a realistic cockpit. You can go into like third person view and just look at the plane from the outside and get like a simplified control version. It's still hard to do because there's so many things you have to press buttons for.
Yeah.
But if you go inside, you look around and it's like, this is this panel, this is that panel, this is the altimeter, this is the attitude indicator, and there's a million panels. And you're just like, this is what it would act like, this is what it actually looks like inside a cockpit. And you hear in the game the controller talking to you.
That's weird.
And you hear like, alarms going off if they need to be going off.
Yeah.
It's insane to try to keep up with.
I heard I didn't hear the joke. I saw a joke about people learning to fly and like inside the cockpit, how many rods, dials, monitors and all sorts of stuff. And it was a joke about DJs just rolling up like, I got this.
Oh yeah. So between having played Flight Simulator a couple times and working in air traffic control and learning about all those panels, I know what they mean.
Okay.
You ever hear the question is like, if there was an emergency situation on a plane that you're on and there were no pilots, do you think you could land the plane?
Okay.
And I think I could get it down safer than most people.
Notice chat. Oh my God. The streamer in me. I did this with when I interviewed my nephew. I did the same thing. Chat, listen. Those listening and watching on the video, yeah. That's saying something because I don't think I could. Great, I know that this is the throttle, and I know this is how I steer.
And I understand, like,
to lift off, you push forward to nosedive.
Like watching enough planes land, you kind of see like how they have to come down, where the wheels need to touch.
Mm-hmm.
Controlling that, I'm not going to hit the perfect spots. It's going to be a rough landing. We might have some gear break. There may be some sliding and some smoke, but I think I could get it down without
losing
crashing.
any lives.
Yeah. I think I could.
Okay.
Not that I ever want the opportunity, but if the situation presented itself, I think I could figure it out.
I don't know why, but in my head, all I'm thinking about is the one episode of Family Guy where they Peter becomes a redneck and he drops off Quagmire at the airport and he steals jet fuel for his truck. He steals jet fuel for his truck and he loses a job. Quagmire loses a job because he has to crash land the plane, right?
Right.
And in an attempt to get his job back, they stage this elaborate plan. Peter, Joe, and Cleveland are stewards, whatever, whatever they're called, right? Stewards, yes. Right? Stewards?
Flight attendants.
Flight attendant. Okay, flight attendant. There you go, flight attendant. So they're a flight attendant, and they drug the pilots. So the pilots pass out, and the plane's going nuts, and they're like, oh gosh, I wish somebody was here who could help us. Is there any pilots? Quagmire's supposed to be on the plane, but he's banging the gate, the lady at the gate, right? And he's like, all right, thank you for your safe landing. Now I gotta go catch my flight. And she's like, oh no, that flight left a while ago. And he's like, oh no. So he goes to air traffic control and talks Peter on how to land the plane. You could do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Not safely, but yes. Well, not unsafely, but without
better than most
catastrophic results. I think I could.
Okay. All because of a video game. Got it. Awesome.
No. Great. No. Mostly because of my career.
Note to self, just play Microsoft's Flight Simulator and you'll be good to fly.
Yes. Please have only played Microsoft Flight Simulator and call up ATC and see how we handle it.
That's great. Video games, they save lives, Mom. They don't make people angry.
Right. Flying in real life is just like GTA. It's fine.
Oh, perfect. Then I could be a pilot.
I'm a great pilot in GTA.
Then you see these people that go in the single engine planes and they're like flying through the tunnels at a side, drifting through it. It's like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now.
You see some crazy things in real life with planes, too, though. Like, just seeing, like, the Blue Angels.
Yeah. Oh,
and the stuff they do. Unreal.
So, I'm going to switch it up. For those that don't know, Pan and I know each other through gaming. We actually met through a gaming group. Thanks, hashtags Snapdax.
Thanks is a bit much.
Actually, it wasn't him. It was Pyro. It was Yeti.
Yeah, it was Yeti.
Dude, okay,
thanks,
so
Yeti.
Let's do we're gonna do a side tangent, right? I label this and I hope that she doesn't listen to one of my episodes. But so through my sister, I know like all of you.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Sure.
My sister dated a dude. Him and I became friends. He gamed, I gamed. Right? So then we gamed together. Through gaming with him, I met a dude, Nifty. What's his name now? He's changed it so many times. It was Nifty. It was just Nifty, then it was Nifty Furball, then it was Nifty Viking, but then it was something else Viking, but then he switched it back to Nifty Furball. Not quite sure why he changed his name so many times, but that's the dude I went out to climb Mount Rainier with, okay? So, met the dude, we started playing ESO, right? Elder Scrolls Online. Then we switched to Call of Duty. Through him, I joined a group, GGR, Gamers Gone. Well, at the time, it was Gamer. They were rebranding.
They were Gamers Gonna Rage. Then they rebranded to Gamers Gone Rogue. Now they're back to, I think, Gamers Gonna Rage. Is that what they are? Yeah, Gamers Gonna Rage. So they're back to Gamers Gonna Rage. Join their Discords. Through that group, I met Reckless Raccoon, who introduced me to Yeti. Okay. Through Yeti, I was introduced to that entire. I literally call them the MIB, the Michigan Boys.
Right.
So there's like 12 of them. I met through there. Through them, how did I meet? Through them, I met Lollipop. Do you know Lollipop?
Nope.
Lollipop and you are very, very similar. Lollipop Love, he's in Michigan. Through Lollipop, I joined another group where I met a good group of like 12 friends. Then through Yeti introduced me to you guys.
Yeah.
All because my sister dated some dude.
Fascinating.
Right? It's not, like, if you actually think about it, it's like, wow, had she not dated that dude, I would have met none of you.
Right?
I wouldn't have. I would have never met him. I never would have joined the gaming group. I would have never joined Nifty Furball. Nothing. Never would have been in. Never would have been in those groups. So, like, the thought of that, all because of gaming, you know? I don't know. It's interesting to think about. I think it's interesting.
I want to get back into gaming and streaming more.
Yeah, I was going to say, stream when?
Yeah, I streamed, I did a whole Jackbox stream last week.
What?
Yeah, I posted about it. What do you want from me?
I didn't see anything about it.
I had a good time. I had like 15 or 16 people in there. Had full games. It was crazy. This is my first stream back in like 3 months too. It was pretty bad. I just want to get settled. Once I'm settled in my new place, and I plan on getting a PC so I can actually play some games with you guys that run a little more stable.
Hey. All right, so talking of gaming, what's the first? I asked this with all my friends that have game and play games and whatnot. What's the first console / game you had / loved? Kind of like a 4-parter. What's the first console that you owned?
The first console I owned was the Nintendo Entertainment System.
The NES, classic. It was mine as well. Technically, the first one that I played on was the Atari 2600. But the first one that I owned was the NES.
Yes, my great-grandpa had an Atari, and I played it a little bit, not much.
So then what's the first console that you loved?
The Nintendo 64. Thank you to Super Mario 64, one of the greatest games ever made.
Well, I mean, that's the follow-up. What's the first game that you had?
Oh, the first game I had was a Power Rangers game.
Ooh.
On the Nintendo NES, on the NES, that I don't remember exactly what it's called, but me and my cousin played it all the time.
I had not the first one that I owned, but one of my favorite ones was literally just titled Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the Sega Genesis.
Nice.
And
then
then
I don't
what's
remember the name of the Power Rangers game, but I know it. I didn't watch Power Rangers, but I love the game.
All right, thanks, folks, for coming to the podcast.
I was not a TV kid.
Oh man, I was. I mean, we had a dish. We had a big 6-foot dish in our backyard because where I lived, you had to in order to have TV.
We had a basic antenna for a while, and then my grandpa worked for Dish Network, so we had that.
Ooh.
And I was just not a TV kid. I would watch. Well, I'll talk about that later, but you'll understand my TV habits later on as we get into other.
I was just about to say, I figured it would go that route. All right, so then what's the first game that you loved?
So the first game I ever fell in love with was Super Mario 64.
Okay,
but
it's a solid game.
Then I took a long break from gaming.
Okay.
And when I really got back into gaming and fell deep into a game again, it was Left 4 Dead 2.
Ooh. Okay. Another solid game.
Left 4 Dead 2, Modern Warfare 2, Skyrim. Those 3 games set me on a course to become that, and finding out I had getting stung by a wasp and having an allergic reaction and almost dying led to me diving deep into video games and being where I'm at now.
I feel that. I feel that.
I got scared of going outside.
I had, so growing up, and this is something that I would like you to go through, but I'll go first. So I had the NES, then it was the combo of the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. I had both. It was lovely. I never was a Sega or Nintendo. You know how they had the rivalry? I had both. Never had a rivalry. Loved them both. For Sonic, Sonic 2, one of my favorite games for that console. The Super Nintendo, oh my god, so many good games for that. You have the Donkey Kong series. You have Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart. Like that was but then for the Super Nintendo, it was the Mortal Kombat series 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Then after that, I didn't have an N64. I was not fortunate enough to have one of those. Nor did I have a PlayStation. I never had a PlayStation console. Sorry. But the next jump, when this tells you how much of a gap, how much time I had with the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. My jump from those two was the GameCube.
Nice.
Huge jump, right? Nothing in between. There was the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, GameCube. From the GameCube, I had the original Xbox. Halo will forever be one of my top favorite.
100%.
Hands down. Hands down. Halo 2 will forever be the best out of that series. You can't convince me otherwise. A lot of people are like, reach. No.
I will always have a special place in my heart for Halo 1. So
Halo 1, the classic. I loved playing the crap out of that on the PC when my PC could handle it.
Yeah, the story, Halo 1 story, I can't even tell you how many times I beat that.
That was me with Halo 2. Halo 2, what was it Halo 2 that they introduced SWAT? I'm pretty sure Halo 2 multiplayer, that's when they introduced SWAT. SWAT was my jam. You give me the battle rifle? Oh,
Halo 2 introduced dual wielding.
They did. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. So then it was pretty much Xbox the whole way from there. I got the original Xbox, then I went to the 360, the 360 Slim, then to the Xbox One. I still have my Xbox 360 Slim and my Xbox One. In fact, those are all Xbox 360 games. Those are Xbox One games.
The Xbox era.
I know.
I'll go over mine. I have heartbreak with Xbox.
Yeah, well, I went from that to PC. In fact, you can see it. I went to that $1,200 PC to what I have now, a $5,000 PC.
Nice.
So, give us the breakdown. What games have you? What consoles have you had?
All right,
and maybe a few games from each.
Start back with the NES. With that Power Rangers game is the only game I remember from my NES.
Okay.
Then I didn't play video games very much. So the N64, I mean, it's the regulars with N64. It's Super Mario, it's GoldenEye, and Ocarina of Time, or Majora's Mask, whichever one had the gold cartridge.
I think that was Ocarina of Time, because I think Majora's Mask came purple.
And then like Major League Baseball. I think it was still just called like Major League Baseball 99 or something like that. But then I was left out of the GameCube era. I never had a GameCube.
Just a quick heads up. Majora's Mask was the gold one.
Nice.
Oops.
Anyways, did I hear that correctly? You never had a GameCube.
Never had a GameCube.
You were missing out on Wind Waker there, bud.
So the GameCube era, a little too much information backstory, was when my parents got divorced, so I couldn't get one. Just didn't have the money. Then PlayStation 1 and Twisted Metal.
Oh.
Twisted Metal is the first game I ever pulled an all-nighter on.
oh.
I still remember it. I was at my grandma's house and she was pissed. She got up the next morning and was like, "You're still on that damn game?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm about to beat it."
Real quick, for those that are younger, back then we didn't have saves. Now PlayStation, yeah, but
yeah.
Back in like way back in the, you didn't have saves. You didn't have saves. Now I understand Twisted Metal with the PlayStation. Was the PlayStation you could save, right?
Yes, if you had a memory card.
Yep.
You had to buy a memory card. If you didn't have one, you're not saving.
Same with the N64.
Yeah.
Yep.
So got through that game. That was a big one because it introduced me to all-nighters in gaming. Metal Gear, solid. The very first one.
Yeah,
and then
solid games.
Resident Evil, which introduced me. Those two games introduced me to how much I can hate camera angles.
There is a Resident Evil game I had for the GameCube, titled just Resident Evil. It's where you're in the mansion. You start out in the bottom of the mansion. For GameCube. Yeah, titled just Resident Evil. I hated playing that game. Loved it. I really wanted to get into it, but I just couldn't, man. I mean, it just, the camera angles, I could not get behind it.
So the PlayStation 1 was at my grandma's, which is where I went every day after school.
Yeah.
Until my mom got off work.
Okay.
Then my mom got me the original Xbox, where Halo.
Yep.
And is when I also started sports games. So the MLB games, and then a game called Fusion Frenzy.
Oh, Fusion Frenzy!
Which is just iconic. It's such a great game.
If you had the original Xbox, you had Fusion Frenzy.
Oh yeah, 100%. So I got way into those. Also, I think it was like MLB 2006 or something.
Okay.
Is where I learned that you could save music to your console somehow and have it play over your games. And so I would sit there for hours. I remember getting an ear infection and for hours playing MLB and listening to Hollywood Undead.
Oh man, back in the days.
Oh yeah, great times.
Where you could rip a CD to the storage on your Xbox.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And then for the PlayStation 2 that my dad got me on the other side, I had Enter the Matrix.
Ooh.
If you remember that gem of a game.
Gem.
And then a game called Gauntlet Legends, which was an arcade game.
I was just about to say, wasn't that the arcade game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And me and my dad played it. He played that and Tiger Woods PGA Tour with me.
Okay.
Then I got the 360, and I was late to the party on the 360 because I didn't get one until Modern Warfare 2 was about to release.
Really?
Yeah. So I had my original Xbox that got broken because my cousin fell on it. And I took it apart. And the disc tray was broken. So I took it apart, set the disc tray back up, put the disc into where it would read, but it wouldn't eject. So I had it books sitting on top of it to keep it weighed down so I could play it and be able to change my disc by taking it apart every time I wanted to play a new game. This is the dedication we used to have in playing games. There wasn't fucking digital download bullshit, okay?
Wait. Let me play Team Fortress, or not Team Fortress. Let me play TFT, Team Fight Tactics. Let me play that on my phone.
Yeah.
You know.
We were dedicated to getting our gaming time in.
You had to rush to do your homework just so you could earn the right to play that game.
And then my luck didn't get any better. So I didn't get a PS3. I went Xbox 360.
Okay.
And that's when Left 4 Dead 2, Madden football, and a few other games, Call of Duty. I got heavy into Modern Warfare 2. Got really good at Modern Warfare 2 for a little while.
You and I should play then, because Modern Warfare 2, back then, when it released in 2010, that was, I went to the midnight release for that while I was in the army. What? No. You know,
I wasn't in the army, but I did go to
while I was in the army. I had to. No, this is gonna make me sound like a shitbag, and I understand people in the comments. I get it. I know I was a shitbag at certain times in the army. If you're in the military, when aren't you a shitbag at one point or another, right? But I was a shitbag. I was not supposed to be out during that midnight release, and here I am lined up. Sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off, but quick side tangent. We had no internet in the barracks, so we all pitched in for a router, and we had 12 consoles system linked together playing on Rust, knives only.
Oh yeah.
That was fun times. Average lifespan was 4 seconds.
So me and my best friend at the time went to Walmart for the midnight release. They were doing a tournament.
Okay.
And the winner got a free copy of the game. And I was pretty good at the time.
Okay.
So we get down to the 3 of us left. The 3 of us that won our 3 brackets.
Yeah.
And there's been like specialty stuff every round.
Okay.
But every round has been like you can only use ARs, you can only use submachine guns, snipers only, right? Whatever.
Okay.
So it's like, all right, final round is going to be, I would expect snipers only.
Yeah.
That makes the most sense, or knives only, which I could handle.
Okay.
They run pistols only. That is by far my biggest weakness. And I finished in second place.
Yikes.
Which got me some sort of like merchandise thing.
Cool,
but
you get
not
a
free
cool,
copy
like,
of the
headband.
game. Yeah, here's like a $10 piece of plastic. You don't get the game. So I had to buy it, whatever. I had to get my friend's mom to call my mom to see if she could buy the game for me because I didn't have the money. And
You
technically,
weren't 18.
I wasn't 18. I was like a few days short of my 17th birthday.
Yep.
So I couldn't buy it. Yeah, it was my mom was pissed.
Oh yeah,
that game changed my life, and then it's just all Xbox from there.
Okay.
But
So-
those old Modern Warfare 2 lobbies were something different.
They really were, weren't they? Like, so by the time I got out of the army and I got back home, I think they were releasing Modern Warfare 3. Was that the next one in the series?
Well, Black Ops came out, but the next Modern Warfare was 3.
So then, yeah, okay. Black Ops was another one. So, while I was in the army, I only went to 3 midnight releases. One that I was told to actually, sorry, I need your pass. I need to see why you're out here. And I'm like, I'm allowed. And they're like, nope, go back. That was for the midnight release of Black Ops. Midnight release, November 9th of 2010. I left the army December 10th of 2010.
Nice.
So I then went back and played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 online, which was tons of fun. It was really different. Like, because you're subjected to such a small group, and then you open it up to everyone else. You think you're hot shit. You're just a big fish in a little pond.
Oh yeah.
But the 3 midnight releases was Modern Warfare 2, Halo Reach, which I purchased the Halo Reach 360 Slim, which came with the 360 skin on it with the 2 controllers. And then the Black Ops.
Nice.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare's and Black Ops were only midnight release 2 and 3 and Black Ops 1. And then I did the midnight release for like Madden 16 or something and played in a tournament for that too.
Okay, so I have to ask, just because it was one of my favorite series to play. Did you ever play NFL Blitz?
Oh, yeah.
What about NHL Hits?
No. I didn't get into hockey games until way later.
Bro, somewhere...
I'm from Georgia. When the Thrashers left, hockey stopped existing.
You're close enough, right? You can root for the Predators.
No.
You're close enough. You can root for the Predators.
I don't go out of state to root for teams.
Oh, come on. The Predators are not that far away.
That's Nashville. It's gross.
I played the crap out of NHL Hits 2002 and NFL Blitz 2002.
NFL Blitz was incredible.
Oh, it was amazing.
And then they came out with Blitz the League. Do you remember that?
I do. That's about when I stopped playing that game series.
Yeah, that was like crazy violent. I loved it.
It was about when I stopped. So, all right. We've gone over your history of gaming. If you had to choose right now your hands down all-time favorite game, what would it be?
That's a loaded question.
It is a loaded question. I know it's tough, but you gotta. Yeah, I'm asking you to try.
There's such different experiences. Okay,
I'm aware.
God of War.
God of War.
God of War.
The original or the series?
The God of War for the PS4 the one that came after God of War 3, but not Judgment.
Okay, so.
It was just called God of War, or The God of War, something like that.
Oh, it's self-titled?
Yeah.
You said for PS4?
Yes.
Oh, so it is just self-titled.
Yes.
Oh, I thought that was... I mean, it's technically 4.
It is 4, yeah, but that's the one.
Because there's that one, and then the follow-up to that, Ragnarok.
Which I have yet to play, so no spoilers. Good.
Don't have a PlayStation.
I haven't played it.
Circling back to never had a PlayStation.
I got a PS5 recently.
The God of War series would be the only reason I would get a PlayStation. Be the only reason.
I got a PS5. And because I got PlayStation Plus and it was free with Plus, I played the Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Okay.
Really good. It's a really good game. It's short. The story was really short, but the game's great.
Okay.
But I have to. God of War is such a hard choice because my favorite experiences are Left 4 Dead 2.
Okay. Again, a solid game.
If I could go back and play one game again for the first time, it would be BioShock.
Ooh, okay.
So it's super different.
I know it's tough. Like, my favorite game of all time, hands down. It's so difficult. Oh. Bear with me as my microphone stand just, popped off my desk.
Somebody insert a technical difficulties thing with some elevator music.
Doom, doom, doom. Wrong way. Hold on. I'm sorry. It's because there's a metal lip here, and I can't really put the microphone arm anywhere else. I can't put it up here, or else it literally, when I swing it back, it hits this monitor that you can't see that's off camera. It's like I have no good spot to put it. I'm gonna have to figure that out here soon. Mine personally, like again, circling back to what you said, it's so difficult because Halo 2, Modern Warfare 2, the original, Mortal Kombat held a huge spot for me. Absolutely. I'm not even kidding. I swear I could kill. I could beat anybody. I could beat anybody in I'm trying to determine if Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat 3. Either or. It just had so much. And then Super Mario World. There's a reason why I have a tattoo of a hat of Luigi's hat.
Yeah.
Because I was literally called Luigi. It's why my hat is green on my logo.
So hands down, favorite game all time.
Down. Oh, damn.
It's gotta be. You made me pick one. You gotta pick one.
I know. Don't at me. Don't at me for this. But probably purely for the amount of hours and the how beautifully done the campaign was. Probably Modern Warfare 2.
That's fair.
The campaign.
I just recently replayed that campaign.
You can't. I since that campaign, I don't think I've played. Let me explain. I buy Call of Duty for the campaign. The multiplayer is an added bonus. I only buy it for the campaign.
Right.
With that being said, I don't think there's been a campaign since that original Modern Warfare 2 that has been as good. The Modern Warfare remake was close. It was good. It was good. Not enough to beat the Modern Warfare 2 campaign.
This Modern Warfare 2 remake was pretty good.
I have it. I own it. Haven't played it yet.
It's a solid campaign.
Haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I do recommend it. I do recommend playing it. It's a really good campaign.
But I have it. I've had it for months now. Haven't played it. And the reason why is because I'm so damn afraid that they're going to do the original campaign dirty.
Well, they don't...
I know it's a completely different scenario. I know it's a completely different time. But that original campaign, that's how much I love that campaign.
There's not a moment... I can't think of a moment in any game's campaign that as many people will recognize and be potentially triggered by than just hearing the words "no Russian."
Oh,
like the impact that had. Everybody remembers it.
When you look back and you think about the first time you played it, you're like, cool. I mean, not cool that I'm shooting up an airport, but cool. Like I'm infiltrating their organization. And I'm not going to spoil it. I know it's been years and years and years, but I'm not going to spoil it. I just, that.
No, this is a message.
Just,
so good.
You can't see it. I'm literally getting goosebumps.
So good.
Chef's kiss on that. That was, you don't see that in games anymore.
Very rarely.
You don't, man. If you know it, you know it.
I think another moment that like sticks out to me, and it's only because it went viral, I think, on social media, is in, I want to say it's The Last of Us Part 2. When
another PlayStation game.
It's like zoomed in on the little bunny in the snow.
Oh yeah, and the arrow.
And then the arrow just right through it.
so many clips of streamers like, oh my god, it's a cute bunny.
And the juxtaposition of look at the bunny, oh my god, or look at the bunny, and then just maniacal laughter.
Like, I mean, great. It was a great scene.
I think one of my Twitch clips, not that, this is God of War, but when I streamed God of War, and one of my first clips that like ever got talked to me about by anybody was like, I watched your clips and there was this moment in God of War that got clipped where the tree, and I was like talking, I don't know what I was on at the time, like mentally, I was talking to this tree, I was like, this is my tree, because Kratos like puts his hand on the tree and he's like being gentle with it. Like, this is my tree, I've never hurt this tree, and then I chop it with an axe. I'm like, oh no, my tree.
That's great. Oh man. So we're talking about all these games, like, again, never had a PlayStation series, right? Or never had a PlayStation, any of them, any iteration. I've played games on them, never owned one, right? So like, if you could play any game right now, what would it be and why?
If I could like just be playing any game,
Any game right now. That console and that game is right in front of you right now. What game and why?
I don't like my answer for this. I know my answer, but I don't like it because it's not a good one.
Okay.
But NCAA football.
What?
I've been reading because it's coming back, and I've been thinking about the nostalgia. And then Pyro Yeti has been streaming a series,
AKA Clover Aquario.
yeah, and it made me really nostalgic for NCAA football. I'm like, man, I really want to play that game. Like, I loved those games; they were so good. So that's my answer now, but I don't like it. Like, I feel like there's better answers.
Excuse me for like 2 seconds. There is a spider on my wall right at the camera. Like,
Ooh,
literally
kiss it on the mouth.
right there.
Give it a kiss.
Nah, sorry. Those watching, I'm sorry. It must be done.
Oh, if you're not watching, you got real close to the camera.
Oh, I did. It was literally right behind the camera on the wall. It was like, here's the camera. Here's where it was.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, and why? I like.
It's a nostalgia thing. That's just the game because recently because Microsoft's purchased Activision, right? Modern Warfare 2 servers are open and active again.
Oh, trust me, I am happy about that.
So I was playing it. Like, I've been on Modern Warfare 2 recently. Left 4 Dead 2, if it's different, like if I'm playing it right now versus if I get to play it in its heyday again, because my answer would be Left 4 Dead 2. If I could go back and play any game in its prime,
If I could turn back time.
I would go Left 4 Dead 2. And I would get back. I had a group in Left 4 Dead 2 and we played all the time. It was at a point where we had 8 of us that played.
Okay.
And
I thought it was only up to 4.
You could play against each other. But so we do 4-on-4s against each other. Sometimes only 4 of us would be on. Sometimes we just hang out in the party and play 2 separate, verses against other people together. But
okay.
That group, we got really close. I don't talk to them anymore, unfortunately, just kind of drifted apart.
Yeah,
but
it happens.
I lost Xbox Live Gold and I couldn't pay for it anymore. And one of the guys in that group was an older guy. And he was kind of like the group dad.
Okay.
And he messaged me and he was like, hey, get on Xbox and check your messages. And he had sent me a 6-month gold card. So I would have gold and be able to get back on and play Left 4 Dead with him.
Oh.
Yeah. So he got me back on so I could keep playing Left 4 Dead for that summer. And then I started college after that.
Okay.
Super nice guy.
So circling back, your game would be NCAA.
Right now, at this exact moment, yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right.
I thought about like all the games that I've loved over time and games that I haven't played.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could say Baldur's Gate, but
See,
I don't
I
want to
played
say
the
a
original.
game that just came out. You know what? If I could play any game right now, Grand Theft Auto 6, fully done, masterpiece up.
Okay, now, all right. You took it the other way. We're not talking about games that are in development. We're talking about games that are out now, released. Come on.
Then yeah. I can't think if there's really any other game. I mean, God of War Ragnarok.
Okay.
Just because I haven't played it yet.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's it.
A lot of games that I would just love to be able to play again for the first time.
See, that's a completely different question.
Okay, so then answer the same question first, but then I want to know what game, if you could play any game for the first time again,
That's easy for me.
Having no memory of the game, going into it like full convalescence, basically. What would your game be?
See, no, that'd be a little different. Okay, so the game I wish I had now, that's easy for me. It's God of War. The one that you said, God of War for the PS4.
Yep. Boy.
I literally have a Norse tattoo on my calf.
Nice.
It's the Volknut. So the 3 triangles intertwined.
Yeah.
That is the sign. That's Odin's knot, Volknut, VALKNUT. It's Odin's knot. It's a sign that you put on yourself or on your armor or whatever. It's a sign for the Valkyries to come down and sweep you up and take you to Valhalla. Around that is a circle, and then around that is all of the Nordic runes, and then another circle around that on my calf.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm very much into Norse culture. Very much into Norse culture. I literally just had a piece done on my thigh of it's a mixture between Frigga, which is Odin's wife,
yep,
and Freya, which, depending on how you read it, is also Odin's wife.
Yes.
So I'm very much into the Norse culture. I've played Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
It's a good game.
It is a good game. I haven't
Assassin's Creed just gets too tedious for me.
There's a lot, yeah. But I've played it, never beat it, because I
never
played
beat
it. I played it on the Stadia.
Rip Stadia. You were before your time.
I have Valhalla and I've never beaten it. I have it for Xbox.
I don't. That's the only way that I had it. I don't have it any other way. Unfortunately.
Obviously, you got to come visit me when I move. You can play it.
Hey, there we go.
I'll have a spare bedroom. I don't know what I'm doing with yet.
Hey, maybe I'll take a flight.
Oh.
So that's the game I wish I had right now is God of War.
Okay.
If I could turn back time,
I could find a way.
God, what game? See, it's tough. It's a toss-up between 2.
Yeah.
Again, circling back to my hands down favorite game. I would play that campaign again of Modern Warfare 2. Like it's a tie between that, and you're gonna laugh at this. Super Mario World.
Okay. You gave me shit for NCAA football.
I know, but that game, I can't tell you how many times I've played that game. How many times I've played through that game. I have access to the Super Nintendo collection, and I play it now on my Switch.
Yeah.
I just, that to me. But if I had to narrow it down to one, it'd be the Modern Warfare 2. Hands down. Like I cannot stress enough how I have never, ever, out of the how many games I have yet to play a game that has a campaign that is as good as that.
I honestly
because of how long it takes you to play it and how much detail they put into it. Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2.
I know before I said BioShock, and it is an incredible game with an awesome story.
Uh-huh.
But I think my actual answer would be Skyrim.
Ooh, okay.
The reason I say Skyrim is because
that's pretty good.
There's a game that came off of Skyrim that was made because of Skyrim. It was originally created as a mod in Skyrim called The Forgotten City. And it was so popular in the Skyrim mods that it became its own game. They made it into its own thing.
What?
And it was such an amazing concept. Basically,
are you talking about one of the DLCs for it?
No. This was like when they added mods into Skyrim and you could download a mod.
Well, yeah, I know what you're talking about with that, but I've never heard of this.
Yeah. So it's like instead of changing like graphics or whatever, it adds an entire new storyline, and it adds a whole new world.
Okay.
And in Skyrim, you're dropped into this lost, forgotten dwarven city.
Okay.
You go down this like waterfall and you end up there. And then you go to this little shack. That's how the game itself starts too. You go to this little shack and then there's this magical item and you're transported to this city and you go out and they have never been touched by the outside world.
Are we talking like the Dwemer?
Kind of.
Okay.
So you go up and like people are like freaked out by you at first, like how did you get here? But then they introduce you to the king.
Okay.
And as you learn more about the city, you realize that they have to follow the golden rule, or a golden rule of do not hurt people. Like if you harm anybody, if you're caught stealing, like it's not you get arrested. It's all of these massive golden statues come to life and kill everyone in town.
Because of one person.
Yes. So they live essentially in harmony. There's still like tension.
Forced harmony.
Right. There's obviously still tension. There's still people like that hate each other and they get mad and stuff, but there's no violence. There can't be any violence.
Okay.
And you have to figure out what's going on in the city. You have to figure out who's going to break the rule. And I don't remember if they had these extra pieces in Skyrim version, but in the real game, somebody's trying to overthrow the king and take over. And there's a bunch of other little things that go on.
I mean, they sort of had that in Skyrim.
Yeah, a bandit tries to come in.
Who's gonna rule? Is it gonna be the civilized order or the Nords?
Right, but this is all in its own little community.
Interesting. How have I never heard of this?
If like say you kill somebody, for example, you have to run away and get to the cabin, the little cabin on the outside of town, and the king has this magic item that basically resets the world. And then you have to go out and try again. So you have to fail a few times to learn more information.
So the king is the only way to prevent all of this, like, mass genocide, essentially.
Kind of. But then you also learn some pretty messed up things about the king. And then you can also figure out eventually how to escape.
Okay.
And it was like, I played Skyrim. I loved Skyrim. I played it for hours on end. When they introduced mods and I found that mod, I played it nonstop. Then I started it over and played it again. Like, it was so good. And the concept of it and the way it was like kind of written, I loved it.
I'm gonna have to look into this because like I said, I've never heard of it, and it's its own game now.
Its own game now. It's called The Forgotten City. It was on Game Pass on Xbox for a while.
I'm gonna have to write that down. Lost City,
Forgotten
City.
Yes, I think it's just called The Forgotten City.
All right, I'm gonna have to check into that because I loved Skyrim, played the crap. I think everybody did because let's be honest, no one played it through and just did the main campaign.
No, absolutely not.
If you did,
I didn't play.
Outside of the speedrunners,
I didn't play Oblivion until after I finished Skyrim.
I still have yet to beat Oblivion. I played Oblivion, but so I'm gonna sound stupid. But it's okay because I kind of feel stupid. I realize that I feel stupid and sound stupid saying this. I couldn't grasp what Oblivion was trying to get you to do. I literally went into Oblivion through the portal, like the very first the very first portal you go through, right? If anybody remembers playing Oblivion, you go up to the church, right? And you have to fight through to the church, but then the church has that portal and you have to go through the Oblivion portal to go into Oblivion. And you're supposed to do something with those fucking towers. And for the life of me, I could not remember. I couldn't figure it out. Couldn't figure out what you're supposed to do. Couldn't figure it out.
Right.
So I stopped playing the game.
I didn't know it existed. And because I didn't really know much about gaming at all at the time. And then when Skyrim came out, I was still like deep into other games. Left 4 Dead, Madden, I was playing that kind of stuff. I didn't really get into any sort of like RPG type game. And then this game called Skyrim came out and people were talking about it. I was like, well, I want to try it, and I was hooked.
Panda.
What?
You had an N64, right?
That's accurate.
Did you never hear of a game called Morrowind?
No.
I never had a PlayStation, or I never had an N64. But I've played Morrowind.
I was not big into video games when I was a kid. Like
I know.
Super Mario 64 I played, and we'd play GoldenEye against each other. I really didn't get heavy into anything else.
Have you ever played Morrowind?
No.
I highly recommend you trying to play that game. If you have the capability, I highly recommend it. Morrowind was really cool because they introduced the concept of being a werewolf. In fact, there was a ring. My cousin had an N64. He had Morrowind. He let me play on his account just to see what it was like. He already beat the game. He's like, whatever, go run around with this. He had a ring. What was it? What was it called? Ring of lycanthropy, however you pronounce it. Where it literally allowed you to change into the werewolf. You had the werewolf, like you were a werewolf, but it allowed you to change whenever you wanted to, not just on a full moon.
Isn't Morrowind available on Game Pass too?
That's a great question.
I know Skyrim and Oblivion are. I assume Morrowind would be.
Both the PC and Xbox versions of the game are on Microsoft's Game Pass subscription service, and both contain the expansion packs.
Huh, interesting.
So there you go.
Maybe I'll have to give it a shot.
You should play it. You should definitely play that game.
Okay.
Yep. Highly recommend you play that game.
Yeah, I guess this also kind of talks about TV habits too, but like when I was little, my daily routine would be to wake up, eat breakfast, watch about half an episode of SportsCenter, distracted, realize I missed the top plays, and then rewatch the same episode of SportsCenter because I wanted to see the top plays.
Yeah, of course, the SportsCenter
and
top
then
10.
Go outside. And I wasn't back in the house until I had to eat something.
Okay. And then
so I didn't watch TV. I didn't play video games. And that's how my life was until I got stung by a wasp and almost died. And I was like, I can't go out there. That's where the wasps live. Okay. I was checking my trampoline to see if it was wet. And there was a wasp nest that they'd started building on it.
Ooh, that was the worst.
And so I hit the trampoline, the wasp nest fell, and a wasp came and stung me right on the inside of my arm.
Because they're assholes. Died.
They are.
Because they are assholes.
Yes. The biggest asshole of all populations of animals.
You lived in Georgia. You should know all about those fire ants then.
Oh, I do. Same venom.
What?
Red wasps and fire ants use the same type of venom. I'm allergic to both.
Really?
Yep.
You lived, dude. Why would you stay in a state that is trying to kill you?
I didn't know better. I was born there.
Well, all the more reason to circle back to what I initially said. Georgia is Satan's butthole.
Yeah, well, I still love it. Okay,
I had my I
nice butthole.
Ants. I hate ants and I hate fire ants because when I was in the army, I set my gear down. Didn't realize I set it on a fire ant hill.
Oh,
that was a fun trip to the doctor's office.
Ouch.
Yes, major ouch.
Yeah, so that's why I hate ants. Hate ants. I don't care if they're the black carpenter ants or if they're the itty bitty little brown ants. You know, the ones that are always in houses for food. Nope.
Right.
Hate them.
Hate them.
So great segue. To a topic that we kind of sort of foreshadowed.
Hey Panda.
Yeah.
Do you like sports?
Oh, I love sports.
Oh, that's
Sports
great.
is the reason I wasn't a video game kid.
Yeah. That's great. That is great.
Like, I'm talking to you, and in the background, I'm watching the Braves play the Pirates.
We don't talk about that.
It's not going well, if it makes you happy.
For you or me?
For me.
What?
I think it's 6-5 Pittsburgh right now.
It is 5-4, end of the
5-4.
sixth.
Okay.
But this is a repeat of yesterday's game.
Oh yeah, 100%. We're still gonna win, but like, I'd rather not give up runs at the beginning of the games. So
It's the sixth.
yeah, but our starter is the one that gave up all the runs.
Oh, come on now. It was 4-3 in the third, nothing on the fourth or fifth, and then we happened to pull out 2 in the sixth.
Yeah, 3
Come
is
on
too
now.
many already.
That's funny.
But whatever.
That's funny.
I am
so,
a huge sports fan.
if you had to narrow it down,
What is your favorite sport and what is your favorite team?
Football, Georgia Bulldogs. Not even a question.
Get out of here, mister. Where's the Bulldogs?
Not even a question. Football, Georgia Bulldogs. College football atmosphere is unlike anything else in the world.
Oh, don't I know it?
And
When
the Georgia Bulldogs are the best team on the planet. So
Pyro Yeti / Clover Aquario.
and Zenano guy / Northside Manic.
Which was on my previous episode of my podcast.
They came down here to Pittsburgh. It was great. It was great. It was wonderful. Listen to this, right? So they decided to come down. So as you know, well, you might not know, Northside Manic is trying to see every NFL team at their home game. He buys their jersey and goes to their stadium to watch them play at home. So he's like, "Hey guys, the Lions play the Steelers. Why don't we go down there and we can hang out and then we all go to the Steelers game?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's genius." Literally the Thursday before they come down here, they're looking it up. Wouldn't you know it? Michigan Wolverines plays the Penn State Nittany Lions at State College. We're like, what are the odds? The same weekend that the Detroit Lions play the Steelers at Pittsburgh, that the Michigan Wolverines are playing Penn State at State College. Like, what are the odds? We have to go, right?
yeah.
Fuck it. So we buy a ticket.
Now, for a little backstory,
My dad went to Penn State, Maine for 3 years.
now I don't know if you understand how hard it is to get Penn State, Maine, your freshman year. Doesn't really happen. My dad did that. My dad did that. And then my younger sister went to Penn State Beaver. Yes, Penn State Beaver. Ha 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 ha. For 2 years, and then went to Penn State, Maine for 2 years. So my family, very much a Penn State fan.
Right.
Right? It was not a fun that weekend was just not a fun time at all.
At all. As a Pennsylvania fan,
Not a fun time.
we lost by like 2 touchdowns to
The Wolverines.
Yep, Michigan was good.
Yep. And then because this was 2021, I believe it was. And then
granted, okay, keep in mind COVID was still kind of a thing. People were out because of COVID, right?
so So the Steelers, we were out Big Ben because Big Ben had COVID. We were out TJ Watt.
Out Big Ben well before that game, but
okay,
fair.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Everybody makes it sound no. Everybody makes it sound that Ben sucked. Absolutely sucked. He was still in the top half of the quarterbacks of that season.
And what statistic?
What do you mean, what statistics? I would take Big Ben over half of those quarterbacks that season. Half of them. Anyways.
I'll let you have that, but okay.
Okay. You'll let me have that. It was a lot of our players were second and third string players. I think we were out TJ Watt. I think we were out we were for sure out Big Ben. At the time we were out what was our one running back at the time? We point is we had a lot of second and third strings in. To their defense, the Lions also had a couple people out due to injuries and COVID and whatnot. We tied. We finished with a tie.
Yep. Against
the Lions. It was a shit game. It was cold enough that it should have been snowing. It should have been snowing. But unfortunately, it was raining. Like it was 30 degrees and raining.
Gross.
Yeah, it was a nasty fucking game. I can't tell you how many fumbles. There were how many. Oh my God. They lost the game because of a field goal because they slipped and missed the field goal from like the 20.
That's pretty bad.
That's how bad the weather was. It was horrible. It was horrible. Right? Absolutely horrible. It was. And so that was a bad time to be a Pennsylvania fan because, and I'll have you know, we had to play the fucking Ravens and beat the fucking Ravens. We had to beat the Ravens in order to go into playoffs that year. Do you know what we wouldn't have had? Do you know what we didn't have to do if we would have won against the Lions? Play the fucking Ravens. Oh, and then trust me. Oh, because that same season, I went up there and I saw the Lions play the Packers at home for their last home game. And it was something. I'll give them that. It was something because I've never heard a fan base be pissed off that they won. Never heard a fan base get pissed off because they won. It's like, yeah, they can't even lose right. What?
Yeah, that was when Detroit was still trying to get the number one pick.
I know. Jacksonville, because of the tie, Jacksonville got first pick.
Yep.
And they still ended up getting their boy from the Michigan Wolverines. But I've never in my lifetime of going to football games have I ever heard a team pissed off that they won.
Oh, I have.
Like, what?
As a Falcons fan, you want to talk about tragic fan? As a Falcons fan, we've been pissed off about winning plenty.
Listen, we've been over this, you and I, on a separate conversation. You guys had a quarterback that, guess what? We also had that quarterback on our team. Guess who else had that quarterback on their team? The Eagles.
Yep.
Mr. I'm a running back. The first running back as a quarterback. The only difference is Vic could throw the ball.
Yeah.
Vic could throw the ball. I cannot stand Lamar Jackson. He is a running back.
Michael Vick was a dog.
That was bad. Not as bad as my fantasy football team, but we're not going to go there.
A funny fantasy football story.
Go for it.
The year he got arrested, my dad made his team name the Convicts. And that was his fantasy team name for the next like 4 years.
Please tell me he had him on the team.
When he made it back to the league, he did.
All right. Nah, we'll keep it clean. You don't get to know what my fantasy football team is.
Oh,
Panda knows because we're in the league together.
that's true.
Anyways, all right. So favorite sport and team.
Football, specifically college football. Because
Yes.
I feel like with college, you have to differentiate between the two because they are
Yes.
completely different animals.
I hope it stays that way. I'm worried the NIL stuff is going to hurt college football a lot.
The NIL.
Yeah.
So I know enough about college football to kind of sort of fumble my way through that.
So, long story short, college football players can get paid for their likeness and stuff, which is
Yes.
fine. But now, top tier college football players are getting $1 million sponsor
Sponsorships.
deals
Okay,
through
so
NIL.
that's the sponsorship thing. Okay, I thought that's what you were talking about, but I wasn't quite sure. Again,
Which is either going to ruin college football or it's going to ruin rookies in the NFL.
Okay, explain, elaborate.
Okay, let's imagine, for example, Arch Manning. We'll just use him as an example.
Okay. Don't know
Right.
who that is, but sure.
Peyton Manning's younger brother, cousin, something like that.
Peyton Manning's
His-
younger brother is Eli Manning.
Other younger brother, Eli and Peyton. I think it's the third Manning brother.
They have a brother?
Yeah.
What?
I know their dad is Archie Manning. He's a legendary
I'm aware of
quarterback.
that. Yep.
Both of them, and now there's a third one, another Manning.
Okay.
And he will be playing for Texas next year, pretty sure.
Okay.
And he's already got like multi-million-dollar deals.
Okay.
So he finishes college. Let's say he struggles in college, but still makes like $2-3 million, but struggles. Goes to the NFL and is on a rookie contract for a few $100,000.
Okay.
You think he's not going to cause problems? Like, I was getting paid more in college. Well,
See, but that's why they got to frame it the right way. Although, yes, he might have issues because of being paid so much and now being paid so little. Don't bump up that gap. Don't do it. Yeah, might have been top dog with the sponsorships and your likeness. As I hit my microphone like 5 times. You might be that, but guess what, bud? You got to prove yourself. Are you the starter on this team? No? Great. Sit down, take your pay.
right. That's going to be the hardest part, is getting these guys who have been put on a pedestal, making all this money in college, to switch gears to the NFL, where now you're not shit anymore.
So pretty much you're worried that they're going to do a Johnny Football.
Basically.
Okay.
But
I
on a
mean, I
mass
could see
scale.
that.
I'm worried there's a bunch of guys that are come in with just overinflated egos that have already made more than they're making in the NFL. Like, well, why am I playing for this amount of money when I was making this amount before?
Johnny Football, I want my money. Give me my money.
Little update: the Pirates are up 6-4 now.
Woo! Let's go,
On
baby.
I don't know when you're gonna post this. So August 10th is when this is being recorded.
Yes, August 10th of 2023. The Atlanta Braves versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh Pirates are 51-63. The Braves are 72-40.
Yes, we are.
It's
Speaking
the bottom of
of
the 7th, 6-4.
the Atlanta Braves, though, Matt Olson just tied Shohei Ohtani with his 40th home run earlier in this game.
Okay. Hey, there you go.
So we now have a tie atop the most record home runs in baseball this year.
Congrats.
Exciting. Braves.
Congrats.
I mean, I hope the Braves can make another World Series win here out of this year.
Listen, bro.
Everything's falling into place.
Do you know the last time the Pirates even went to a World Series?
No, but you have the Steelers, so get over it.
And the Pens.
You're forgetting the Pens.
I don't know enough about hockey to say that.
If you really want to get technical, so there's a fun fact. If we're going professional, right? We're going professional.
Yes.
Okay. We have the Penguins, Pittsburgh Penguins, our NHL team. Pittsburgh Pirates, our MLB team. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, our NFL team.
Yes.
But, and this is controversial, regardless of what you feel, it's a thing. It's becoming a thing. My nephew is literally getting a sponsorship or a scholarship for this thing, so don't you at me for this. We also have a professional esports team called the Pittsburgh Knights. Also, black and gold. This is gonna be funny. So, for those of you that know Pennsylvania, there is a lifelong, and I mean lifelong, since I've been alive, there's been this rivalry between the gas stations. Okay? There is a gas station called Sheetz. Sheetz. For those of you that know, it is a phenomenal gas station. It's like a marathon on steroids. You have a crap ton of customizable food that you can order, and they'll make it. But they're known because they started as a coffee company, the Sheetz Brothers Coffee. And they decided, you know what? Screw it. You stop to get coffee at a gas station. Why don't we just start our own gas station? So the controversy, not the controversy, the debate of which is better in state. West of the west side of the state, you have Sheetz. Pittsburgh all the way to halfway through the state. Once you start getting towards Philly, it's Wawa. I hate Wawa. I don't hate Wawa. Wawa's actually pretty good. They only really specialize in like 3 things, though. You can get a good panini and a good mac and cheese. They have really good mac and cheese. It's so damn good. But anyways.
So to expand this to the rest of the country, well, at least the rest of the east and south and middle of the country, they're both worse than Buc-ee's.
Whoa.
Get over it. And it's probably like a slightly better version of Quick Trip for your southeastern people.
Quick Trip is pretty good.
Or your Midwest people, it's a better version of Casey's.
I've never heard of any of these. So
yeah.
I'm very sheltered, okay?
For your southern, and it's expanding. If Buc-ee's keeps expanding, they're gonna take over everything. Buc-ee's is unreal.
I'm telling you. Have you had Sheetz?
No, but have you had Buc-ee's?
No. And I lived in Georgia for a year.
Buc-ee's is not a Georgia thing, it's a Texas thing. But
all
it's
the more reason. Oh, Buc-ee's, that's that little dog. BUC-E, right?
It's a beaver.
Oh, is it a beaver?
Yeah.
No, we stopped there.
BUC-EES.
BUC-EES, yeah.
Yes.
We stopped there when we were in Texas.
You should have.
Yeah, we did.
It's like a Walmart, but a gas station. But in the middle, they have a big, where they're like cooking pulled pork and like barbecue sandwiches and all that stuff on the spot. You can get that at Sheetz. And they have the best bathrooms, which is weird. But that's like what Buc-ee's was known for originally.
What, coffee? Or
the quality of their bathrooms.
Okay, already your argument is null and void. If you're known for having great bathrooms, then you obviously have
Buc-ee's is the only gas station I've ever been in where the bathrooms, there's like 50 of them, and it's your own little room. Like, door closes top to bottom.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about other people.
They have that in Sheetz.
It's like a giant porta potty, but
Sheetz,
it's quality.
Some Sheetz. Some Sheetz that have the top to bottom.
They have a bunch of their own snacks. They have their jerky is probably what they're most, either their jerky or their barbecue is what they're most known for.
All right. So Snap, when you're listening to this, we got to stop at Buc-ee's because apparently they got good food.
They do. Oh, the Buc-ee's pulled pork sandwich.
Speaking of so Buck, Pirates are winning 7-4 now.
I don't want to hear it. It's also bases loaded right now.
Yes, let's go, baby. All right, so let's steer this back. So anyways, the Pittsburgh Knights, the esports team, they're sponsored. One of their main sponsors is Sheetz. Guess who's also a sponsor of the Pittsburgh Knights?
My grandfather.
Hint, hint. Black and yellow, black and yellow.
Wiz Khalifa?
Wiz Khalifa. Wiz Khalifa
Interesting.
is a main sponsor of the Pittsburgh Knights esports team.
You know, Pittsburgh is the only city in the entire country where all the professional sports teams share the same colors.
Yep. Including, and they're not professional. That's why I didn't mention them. But the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, our soccer team that plays at Highmark Stadium, right across the river from the main part of the city, at the very bottom of the incline, right? They are also black and gold.
Nice.
So
Atlanta all has red, but the Hawks and Braves have the blue and yellow hints to them, where the Falcons are black, red and black.
Oh, do you want me to take it one step further?
Sure.
The Pittsburgh Thunderbirds, that's the Pittsburgh official ultimate frisbee team. They're also black and gold.
I mean, you have to. At that point, if you make any sort of somewhat professional team, you have to make it black and yellow now.
You have to.
So
what's the XFL or the is it the XFL? It's the Pittsburgh Ironworkers or the Pittsburgh.
I couldn't tell you that.
Pittsburgh XFL team. Maulers. It's the Pittsburgh Maulers, which is hilarious because they don't even play in Pittsburgh. They play in Canton, Ohio. What?
Huh.
Which I'm just throwing it out there. Their colors are also black and gold.
Yeah.
Their alternate is orange and purple. Okay.
Yeah, there's some really weird alternates for all these teams.
There really are. Isn't it LSU that's the orange and purple?
LSU's purple and gold.
Oh, purple and gold. That's right. That's right.
It's disgusting.
Anyways, yeah, so yeah, we have an esports team that's sponsored by Wiz Khalifa.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Sorry, so you have your favorite sporting team, college, right? Here
College
in Pitt,
football, Georgia Bulldogs.
Here in Pitt, we have the
The Pitt Panthers.
Yep, the Pitt Panthers. Not to be confused with the Penn State Nittany Lions. Why we go with cats? No clue. No clue.
Don't know. Definitely not. I mean, there's way weirder out there.
There are. So I'm assuming you've been to a couple of these games, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. If you had to narrow it down to your favorite game that you have ever went to, what is it?
Ooh.
Tough one.
Oh, that's so hard. I would say it's so hard. There's a few games that I've been to, but I think the most fun one was a Georgia game against Texas A&M, I believe.
Okay.
And it was the loudest I've ever heard. Maybe Auburn. Georgia Auburn. I'm going to go with Georgia Auburn. So it was a Georgia Auburn game. And every Georgia game, it's an experience like no other.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't give, like, you hear about like the hardest places to play in college football, and Stanford Stadium never gets any love on that list. But I think the loudest a football stadium has ever been in college was Stanford Stadium against Tennessee.
Okay.
So people like underestimate the atmosphere there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a moment in the fourth quarter, going into the fourth quarter, where they turn every light in the stadium red. And the entire stadium is just a glow of red and everyone's getting super hype. It's so much fun. That on top of the traditions. I mean, the walkout song for Georgia every time I've been there is, so I'm assuming this is a long, long tradition, is Baba O'Reilly by The Who.
Yeah.
That's just so much fun. So and then the Georgia-Auburn rivalry is called the Deep South oldest rivalry.
Okay.
And so it's a big rival. It's just a really fun time, really fun place to be.
See, this shows how little I actually know about college football. I told you that my dad and my sister both went to Penn State. I don't know who Penn State's rival is. Couldn't tell you.
Maybe Notre Dame.
Maybe Notre Dame.
They were both big around the same time.
Can't tell you who the Pitt Panthers rival is.
That I couldn't tell you. They're irrelevant.
They are irrelevant.
They an ACC team?
Huh?
Maybe. I think they're ACC, so it's probably like, North Carolina or some shit.
Just throwing it out there, the Stanford Stadium holds 92,746. Beaver Stadium, where Penn State plays, 106,572.
Yeah. I think Michigan holds.
Nope. We don't talk about that.
But here's the thing, right?
No.
Google this. Look up the loudest college football stadium measured, like the loudest sound at a college football stadium.
Here's Stadium Talk. Top 20 loudest college football stadiums.
Not in general, but of all time, the loudest recorded.
Loudest recorded college football stadiums. And it gives me the same article. And look at that. The number one, the first image you see is Penn State on a whiteout.
Yeah.
Number 20, Stanford Stadium.
Look up the loudest crowd in college football history.
Okay, loudest crowd in college football history. University of Washington's Husky Stadium tops our list. It's again the same article from Stadium Talk.
Find a better article.
That reason boils down to one day, September 19th, 1992, when Husky fans registered a staggering 133.6 decibels during a game against Nebraska, the highest decibel level ever recorded at a college football game.
Fine.
Same article. 20 is Stanford Stadium.
The one at Stanford Stadium was 1 decibel lower.
The Bulldogs haven't lost a home game since a double overtime defeat against South Carolina on October 12th,
we don't talk about that.
2019. Number 19, Folsom Field, University of Colorado.
Interesting.
Georgia
should be top 5.
18, Jordan-Hare Stadium, Auburn University.
Gross. We don't talk about them either.
Number 17, Gaylord Family, Oklahoma Memorial Stadium for University of Oklahoma.
Yep.
16, Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium for University of Texas.
Those two teams who are about to get introduced to the SEC in a real big way.
Yeah. 15, Kinnick Stadium, University of Iowa.
Iowa, so I don't know, I can't tell you about the volume of Iowa, but they have the coolest tradition, I think, in all of college football.
When the entire stadium collectively waves towards the University of Iowa Children's Hospital during the following the first quarter.
Yeah, the wave is so cool. Like everybody in the stands, every single player on the field, everyone turns and they wave at the kids.
Huh.
It's a really cool.
Even the refs and opposing teams participate.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Number 14, Lincoln Memorial Stadium, University of Nebraska. Yep.
I wonder if I can get where all these stadiums actually are.
Without me telling you what college it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of it will be easy, but what?
Ohio Stadium.
Ohio Stadium. Ohio State.
Yep. Number 13. Camp Randall Stadium.
Camp Randall is Wisconsin.
There you go, buddy. University of Wisconsin.
Nailed it.
Do you want to go actual location or do you just want to go college?
I assume it's in Madison.
It's in Madison. Good. Hey, look at you. Number 11, Doak Campbell Stadium.
Doak Campbell is Florida State.
There you go.
In what is Florida State? Jacksonville is Florida. Tallahassee, maybe.
Tallahassee. What? Okay, I hate how much you know college.
Only the big schools.
Oh, look at that. Number 10, Michigan Stadium.
I'm kind of surprised that one's that far up because I think they have the highest capacity.
107,601. That's why I said we shut up about Michigan, because our Michigan boys like to point out that their stadium holds more than Beaver Stadium.
It's crazy. All those people, they still couldn't make a national championship last year.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it when Michigan State beats Michigan. Oh, I love it. Love it. Number 9, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium.
Ben Hill Griffin. Is that Gainesville? Is that where the University of the worst team in football plays?
University of Florida in Gainesville.
The most disgusting
this is the swamp
ever.
Yeah.
You hear it called the swamp a lot more than their actual stadium. It's kind of like Death Valley.
Ew.
Yeah. Two places call their stadium Death Valley. Clemson and LSU.
Get out of here with that. Number 8, Kyle Field.
I don't think I know Kyle Field.
Texas A&M.
Oh, gross, with the cowbells?
Yeah.
Is that Mississippi State? Which one? No, Texas A&M is the cowbells.
Texas A&M at College Station, Texas.
Yeah.
Hey, number 7, baby. Beaver Stadium. Let's go.
The Ball State Beavers.
Ball State Beavers, get out of here.
I think Ball State's the Cardinals too. Just sounded good.
The official seating capacity of Penn State makes it the second largest stadium in the Western Hemisphere and the fourth largest stadium in the entire world. Get wrecked, Michigan. Get wrecked, Michigan.
I mean, what? Isn't Michigan above them on both of those lists?
No. Penn State is 7, Michigan is 10.
Oh, I'm just meaning like capacity-wise.
They're above them on capacity. Yeah.
Penn State's above them there just because the whiteout's a really cool thing.
It is a really cool thing. And that's a more modern thing, too.
They were probably a little bit higher before Joe Paterno.
Yeah.
Not Joe Paterno, Jerry Sandusky.
Listen, I not to go into it. We're not going to go into it because we're running short on time, but that whole they did Joe Paterno bad. They really did. If you were here for the local news, like the actual correct news, not the blown up nationwide
correct news.
No, really, it is. It is. You know how it is. Something happens local, it gets picked up by some national, news center, and they don't get the facts right.
Right.
If you look at the local, Joe Paterno, it was determined that Joe Paterno most likely did not have an idea that it was going on.
Yeah.
And they still did him dirty. Removed his statue, removed him from their school, everything. That man founded that college football.
Yeah.
He's the reason they're on the map. And they did him dirty. But anyways, I won't continue. Number 6, Lane Stadium.
Number 6, Lane Stadium. No idea.
Virginia Tech.
Oh, really?
Blacksburg, Virginia.
Huh.
That's a weird German ass name. Autzen Stadium.
In I don't know.
Quack quack.
Oregon. I wanted to guess that, but I didn't think it was right.
University of Oregon in Eugene. Autzen Stadium. Autzen. Why the hell does Oregon have a German ass name for a stadium?
Don't know.
That's interesting. I like their jerseys though. Their jerseys are popping.
Yeah, well, I mean, Eugene is where Nike is headquartered also. So
Yeah.
that helps.
It does. Why is this team in the top 5? Number 4, Tiger Stadium.
Is that Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or is it Clemson?
It is Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Okay.
4.
The Louisiana State University Tigers.
LSU. Get out of here, Joe Burrow. Nobody likes
Joe
you.
Burrows.
Oh, hey, look. Number 3, Death Valley.
Death Valley, Clemson.
Clemson,
South
baby.
Carolina.
Yep.
Death Valley Memorial Stadium.
Death Valley. What's Death Valley? Clemson Memorial Stadium.
Yeah.
Number 2, Neyland Stadium.
Oh, I'm about to be there.
University of Tennessee in Knoxville.
That's where I'm going.
All right. Knowing what all the rest were, what do you think is number 1?
Knowing everything with every team we just talked about. It's hard because the teams I thought would have been number 1.
I'll give you a hint. We've already talked about them.
On this list.
We looked up, you had me look up, and I stated on what specific day at what specific decibels it was. You already know the answer.
Why do I not remember we just talked about it?
We did before I listed them all.
It's a team that's not actually real.
I mean, it's not a team I've heard of. Makes sense because every other state has a university of that state.
Washington.
University of Washington, Husky Stadium.
Oh, yeah. If you'd said Husky Stadium, I would have got it.
Yeah.
That's the only Huskies I can think of.
That's great.
Nobody's scared to go play at the University of Washington, okay?
Ooh, I know. Let's the follow-up article, we're just gonna run through it. We're gonna run through it, and then I got one more question for you, and then we're gonna wrap this up.
Okay.
These are the loudest NFL stadiums.
Ooh.
Number 10, State Farm Stadium.
State Farm.
Let's see if you can continue this to the NFL. State Farm Stadium. They made a movie about their quarterback.
Oh, well, you lost me.
Oh, come on now.
The
Steelers
Arizona?
beat them in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Cardinals.
The Cardinals. I know. He wasn't. I mean, he went to the Super Bowl with them, but he was more known for his time at the Rams. I get it.
Yeah.
Mr. Kurt. Arizona Cardinals, 78,600 capacity.
Oh, is this just like the largest capacity?
No. These are the loudest NFL stadiums.
Okay.
The stadium has already hosted the Super Bowl. Number 9, US Bank Stadium. This should be easy for you. Come on now.
US Bank should be easy for me.
This team is kind of known for the US Bank Stadium.
Minnesota.
There you go.
First of all, I'm a Falcons fan. NFC South teams should be easier, but fair enough.
Okay, well, this one, I don't even want to say this one. I don't want to say this one. And I don't actually hate this team. I hate this team for one player. Number 8, Gillette Stadium.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They can go screw themselves.
Yep.
No, they did our team dirty. They did my team dirty.
That was number 7 Heinz.
No, it's
formerly-
Acrisure Stadium.
Formerly Heinz Field.
They didn't even say. No, it doesn't even have in parentheses Heinz Field.
The artist formerly
Okay.
known as Heinz Field.
So for everyone that knows, if you're from Pittsburgh or if you're a Steelers fan, period, because if you're from Pittsburgh and you're a Steelers fan, they will forever tell their kids it's Heinz Field, and they will tell their kids it's Heinz Field, and they will tell their kids it's Heinz Field, because it will forever be known as Heinz Field.
Yes.
Number 7, Acrisure Stadium.
The artist formerly known as Heinz Field.
Bottom line, if you didn't realize the Pittsburgh Steelers played at Acrisure Stadium, that's okay. We didn't either. Known as Heinz Field for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. Number 6, Lambeau.
Okay, makes sense.
Makes sense. Number 5, AT&T Stadium.
Also makes sense.
Does it?
The Dallas Cowboys.
Does it? The only people that like, come on now.
They built a fucking ton of room in there, though.
They did. Expandable. The capacity. All right, we need to go back. Heinz Field, capacity, 68,400. Lambeau Field, capacity, 81,000. AT&T Stadium, capacity, expandable to 105,000. Expandable to 105.
I don't know. I think it has something to do with the all the walks, the standing only space they have.
Okay. Well, I actually passed that when we were at Smite World Championship. Number 5, Lumen Field.
Lumen Field, Seattle.
I didn't hear of this before.
The 12th man in Seattle, big thing.
It is. I know it's the 12th man.
Surprised they're that low.
Never heard their field.
Or that low down the list. I figured they'd be higher.
In the top 3, they're at number 4.
Yeah, I figured they'd be, because didn't they have like one of the loudest of all time there?
Fans of the Seattle Seahawks have set the Guinness World Record for loudest crowd roar at an outdoor stadium twice, reaching 136.6 decibels in 2013 and 137.6 decibels in 2014.
And then it got beat. Which I assume is going to be the number 1 on this list.
Might be. Number 3, Lucas Oil Stadium. That one. Come on, that's a good
Colts.
Number 2, Caesars Superdome.
Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans.
Originally known as the Louisiana Superdome. Most people just call it the Superdome. This stadium has hosted 7 Super Bowls. Not a single comment about it not being Caesars Superdome.
Yeah, well, it's Mercedes-Benz Superdome. It was until last year.
And then number 1.
Has to be Arrowhead.
Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah. They hit 140 decibels at Arrowhead.
Arrowhead has consistently held the title as the NFL's loudest stadium for some time. Decibel level readings be damned. Yeah, it doesn't say.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Arrowhead had a 140 decibel, jet engine level loud one time.
That is nuts. I knew the Steelers were up there because you should hear them, especially after the third quarter.
Yeah,
third quarter. If you don't know, there's a tradition after the third. Well, one of the more recent traditions, but still a tradition nonetheless. Where after the third quarter, Styx Renegade is played, and everyone does it. It is phenomenal. If you haven't experienced it, I highly recommend. You could hate the Steelers. Please, just experience that. It is amazing. Oh, look, it's top of the 9th, 7-5.
Yep.
All right. Anyways, last but not least, the last question I have for you. What game/team do you wish you could see?
Hasn't already happened yet, or one that I didn't get to see that I wish I could have?
Either or.
Your interpretation.
Okay, a game I wish I could have seen, but I didn't get to was Georgia. Either of their last two, realistically beating Alabama in the national championship. I mean, that or the game against Tennessee when Tennessee was ranked number 1.
Ooh, okay.
And we just slaughtered them last year.
That's solid. That is solid.
Game that I hopefully will get to see, but haven't yet is Georgia just demolishing Texas. Right? And I want it to happen 1 week after all the Texas is back people. Like Texas gets a big statement win. Everybody's like, Texas is back. And then Georgia just bone saws them. I want that.
Okay. That's solid. That is solid.
That's biased because I'm a Georgia fan. Like, I think it would be really cool to go to, like,
Whoa.
As much as I don't like either team, an Ohio State Michigan game would be cool to go to.
Whoa. You're a Georgia fan?
Just a little. So that my answers are a little biased because there's a lot of games. I'd love to go to a big rivalry in Lambeau.
The Buckeyes can go die.
I would love to see a lot of these iconic rivalries.
I would love to go see, and it'd be dangerous. I would love to go see a Buckeyes versus Wolverines at Buckeyes.
Yeah.
And the Wolverines win.
That would be awesome. Either way, that atmosphere would be unreal. It's kind of like, as a Georgia fan, it's Georgia, Florida.
Yeah.
Like, if you ever see pictures of the stadium for Georgia versus Florida, it's awesome. Because half the stadium is red and half of it's blue.
Wasn't there, real quick, I know I said we would be done. Wasn't there a huge issue with a Florida game? Where was it University of Miami versus some other Florida team that was like right down the road from them? And they actually fought? They actually like literally fist fought?
It sounds like something that would happen. I don't remember it, though.
Miami FIU brawl of 2006. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this, when was this?
Imagine fighting FIU.
College football's worst brawl led to 31 suspensions. Few moments in the NCAA college football game have been more violent and vicious than when the Miami Hurricanes and Florida International Golden Panthers brawled back in 2006. After taking a 13-0 lead over FIU, the Miami Hodder was attacked on the extra point, leading to benches clearing, chaos, and a total of 31 players being suspended. They're really close. Like, they're really close to each other.
Well, Pittsburgh won the game on some bullshit.
Hey, 7-5
They were
win.
probably going to win anyway, but they just won on a strike 3 call that was like 3 inches above the zone.
Ooh. I'm not saying that. Listen, I wasn't expecting. We said this before. I wasn't expecting the Pirates to win. The Pirates started out hot this year, and then they went back to their normal selves. I will not be
2-2.
I will not be a true fan of the Pirates. Let me rephrase that. I am a true fan of the Pirates to the point where I probably won't actually root for them until the owner sells the team. There was talks about honest to God, there was talks about Mark Cuban buying the team. And there was talks about Pat McAfee buying the team. Both grew up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pat McAfee is awesome.
He is awesome.
I'll never forget Pat McAfee's Troy Polamalu stories.
The C gap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're kicking it. Love it.
I will be at the Braves game on Monday.
Ooh, okay.
Braves versus Yankees in Atlanta.
Ooh.
My best friend is a big Yankees fan. And we got Alpha Club seats, like right by the Yankees dugout, a few seats up. He works for Charles Schwab.
Oh,
and
yeah.
One of his clients is a friend or something that got the tickets, and they were like, "Here, do you want these?" Like, we can't make the game. He was like, "Absolutely."
Nice.
So we're gonna go live that life.
Okay. Well, enjoy. I'm sure
yeah.
it'll be tons of fun.
I'll send some pictures.
Definitely. But good sir, I appreciate you taking the time out, hopping on the podcast with me.
I'll do it again.
Definitely. We'll have to do this again, except maybe you interview me.
All right, I can do that.
All right, good sir.
I can interview.
I'm down for it. I haven't done. Let's see. I have the podcast open over here. The last interview, the last podcast episode where I was interviewed was published on April 30th of 2020.
Damn. Yeah, I'll interview you. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We'll call it an evening with Paco, and we'll get a little fire going the whole time.
Perfect.
You got to wear like a Hugh Hefner type robe, like a big red, just sweet like silk robe.
And by that time I'll have the chair modeled out, so it'll be like a throne, and I'll just be sitting on the throne.
Yeah,
with my.
You got to have like a fancy drink,
corduroy slippers on.
Oh, for sure. Fancy drink and a cigar, and we'll just call it an evening with Paco.
Perfect. An evening with Paco. Well, good sir. Let the people listening, let the people watching know what do you got going on? Like what do you got going on? Where can people find you?
Oh man, I'm hard to find right now, but hopefully I won't be soon. I plan to start streaming again on Twitch at @ARealPanda. It's _real_panda.
Okay.
Where I play video games badly. Outside of that, I don't have too much of a social presence, which is kind of weird for somebody with a degree in media. But if you look up @ARealPanda on Instagram, there's an account that exists. I'm not super active, but it's there. And Twitter or X, I guess now.
Yeah, X now. Oof.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm. You can find me there. I can't promise activity on any of those, but I can promise activity on Twitch.
Perfect. I will make sure that those listening, those watching, it'll be in the links in the description. So go ahead and check that out. But everyone, that's going to be it for me. It's another episode of Paco's Taco Podcast. Thank you again, Panda.
Thanks. Tune in next time I'm on the podcast for me doing the interview.
Yeah. Check it out. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day.